We got a couple more days left in June, and then July will be here. But folks, on a Wednesday, Hump Day, you're rocking and rolling right here. Hottest show on the streets, number one form for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy to have you all checking us out here on today's show. We bring you the show from the Magic City of Birmingham. We stream this to you on YouTube, and speaking of the channel, stop all that you're doing, tap that subscribe button, hit subscribe right now. Also, make sure you share the show to every friend, every family member, diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Tide football, because if you love the content, they will enjoy it too. Be sure to also tap the like button. Give us that thumbs up right there. Hit that like button. Make the short show your spot, your network, platform, channel, space, outlet for all Tide football. We appreciate that. Daily Super Chat Go, $100 daily. Super Chat Go, $100 right there. Trying to get the show up 50 likes out the gate to start it, so tap that like button there. And don't forget to hit that notification bell, so that way you don't miss nothing when it comes down to your Bama football news, notes, and information. We also have a message board. So for all of you fans out there trying to help us the college football playoff, the college football playoff, and winning a national championship. So that'd be the mission there for Coach Saban. For those of you that probably didn't hear me, first topic of conversation here, you look at head coach Nick Saban, of whom he's been having a fun offseason thus far. He's been doing some different things that have gone viral on social media, but at the same time, we all know that Saban knows when to be serious, when to sort of flip that switch and get himself and his players prepared for, a run in college football. The mission here for him, going back to the college football playoff and finishing the deal here with a national championship. One of the videos that went viral here for Coach Saban on social media was the one of him virtual reality boxing, and this is with his daughter Kristen Saban said us putting this up here. Let's look at the form here from Coach Saban. Got this good punch jab combination, knocking somebody out. Got this nice punch jab combination here. I mean, he is showing the opposition, I'm about to knock you out this upcoming season. I'm knocking everybody out. I'm knocking every opponent out on the road here to the national championship. So he's showing these different combinations. He got the Dukes up. I mean, he's showing it right now, the movement, even at 71 years of age, ready to show the college football world it doesn't matter who I'm playing in this upcoming season. I'm taking everybody out. I'm knocking everybody out. And the goal, the mission, get back to college football playoff, winning national championship. We've seen Coach Saban spotted in Italy of his offseason, enjoying that trip. We've seen Coach Saban back in the homes of recruits, hitting the Cupid Shuffle, the electric slide, showing all the moms at the cookout. I can still get down. I can still move. I can still dance here. I believe Miss Terry probably taught him a few moves there in that Cupid shuffle, that electric slide. But just seeing him in action, firmly understanding that the mission, winning a national championship. And it's not just him knowing the mission. You got so many media pundits that know it also. Whether it's Pat McAfee, or the Pat McAfee Show on ESPN, whether it's Kirk Herbstreit, one of the biggest mainstays of ESPN College Football Game Day, and Kirk Herbstreit talked about it recently. Just when you're about to count out Nick Saban, that's when he burns you. Just when you're about to count out Nick Saban, that's when he comes from underneath the water and dominates you. Just when you're about to count out Nick Saban and say he's too old, he can't do it anymore, Alabama's done, he's done, go ahead and retire him, that's when Nick Saban locks into whatever type of Thanos-like zone he locks into, and he just completely takes over. I doubt it, Saban. Doubt it, undervalued Nick Saban is when he is at his absolute best. And we have seen so far this offseason a lot of the major talking heads doubting, undervaluing him, looking at other programs saying now it's their time. Alabama's had its time. Coach Saban's had his time. Now it's the moment for somebody else to go on a run of winning national championships. But Coach Saban not necessarily ready to give up that calling card just yet. And while he's had some fun this offseason, while he's enjoyed the summer, he knows how to have fun, but he also knows when it's time to get down to business, when it's time to be serious. And this upcoming season, he's going squarely after national championship number 7 when it comes to Alabama football, and national championship number 8 overall in terms of his coaching tenure. So for all the national talking heads out there, continue the doubts. Continue the doubts, continue the naysay, continue the negative conversation. It is only feeding more motivation into somebody that knows what he's got to do to get this program not just back into the CFP, but finish the job and winning that national championship, so he knows exactly which buttons to press here in the room. But we take our first break here on the show and touch that dial. We're just getting started. Upon our return, we go to the phone lines, we grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations, a dialogue with you, the fans. Line us up in the phone lines after this.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
Here we go, folks. We're back into the action from the break. Rocking and rolling right here with you on a Wednesday hump day. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy to have you guys checking us out on today. Continue tapping the like button, giving us that thumbs up right there on the show, showing that support, hitting that subscribe button as well, making this your show, your network platform, channel space to talk all things Bama football. Also, you're trying to be among the first few wave of fans, first group of fans to help us rebuild and regrow this message board. The link to the message board can be found in the chat line and also in the description. Appreciate you guys for all the support right there. That daily super chat go, $100 daily super chat go there. Before we get into the call topic here, or the call segment here, the call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, there was a great question that was asked by the Touchdown Alabama magazine staff on Twitter. And the question is, which pre-Saban era player would dominate in this era right now? So if you haven't seen that question on the TDA Twitter page, definitely interact with that question, get involved, provide your engaging answers there on social media. Which pre-Nick Saban player would dominate in this particular era right here for Alabama in college football? But 205-448-1358, the number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358, the number right there on screen as you guys are getting your thoughts prepared to call in. Cool call topic here, Eli, and it goes to one Bryce Young, former Alabama quarterback, 2021, Heisman Trophy winner, number 1 overall pick in this recent draft by the Carolina Panthers. Bryce and his family had an emotional moment today. Bryce walks up to his locker for the Panthers, jersey in there, mom and dad with him. They share, a lot of emotion there. And Bryce's mom, Miss Julie, looks at her son and says, you did it. And Bryce responds with, no, we did it. And Miss Julie responds with, yes, but you threw all the touchdown passes. I mean, it's just a very special moment between a son and his mom and dad as their lives definitely changed forever. He's the number 1 pick. His parents, your parents, are the number 1 pick. They've watched Bryce his entire life go after this football dream and been realized, been finalized, and Frank Reich moving Bryce Young up to QB1 for the Panthers. Training camp coming soon for the organization. All eyes will be on how Bryce performs in training camp. Should be fun to watch there. Dominated rookie minicamp. Organized team activities, mandatory minicamp. So once training camp takes shape in the next coming weeks here, it's going to be highly fun to watch big number 9 do his thing out there for the field for Carolina. But if you haven't checked out that video on social media, it's right there on Twitter where it's Bryce. He's walking to his locker with his mom and dad, and just a very emotional moment right there. But we're taking another break here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial, because upon our return, we actually sit down with the man, the myth, the bona fide legend himself, Justin Smith, the director of scouting for TDA, to talk about the latest commitment recruit, this Alabama 2024 class. We'll get with Justin after this.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
As we're back into the action, folks, from the break on a Wednesday hump day, number 1 ticket for your Alabama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to have you all in here. Got my man Eli Walker in the production studio. Continue to tap that like button. Give us that thumbs up right there. Hit the like button. Show that support there. Continue to hit the subscribe button as well. Share the show to everybody that you know. Every diehard fan, casual fan, consumer of Tide football. If you're feeling the content, guess what? They will also. That daily Super Chat go $100 daily. Super Chat go $100 right there. And we're back in a little bit early from the break. Just going to make our way until we can get Justin there on the phone lines, our director of scouting and recruiting for TDA, a guy that has done a phenomenal job on the recruiting trail, getting the information on these athletes, documenting these young high school athletes, always prepared with the lowdown on what's happening on the recruiting front. So it's always fun to get that conversation with Justin as he's making his way here to the phone line shortly. But I mean, for me, it feels like Coach Saban's on a mission. I mean, it feels like he is. I mean, yes, he's enjoyed the offseason, as many coaches do. When you get you a chance to go to Italy, spend some time there, have Alabama fans come up to you internationally, recognize you, recognize the brand, enjoy having different conversations with you. That's fun. And then when you're Nick Saban, you can, go to Capitol Hill, Washington, D.C., and have conversations about NIL and the different parameters that need to be put around that to better that, improve that. That's always good. You come back to Birmingham, you have your golf tournament. You take the players out there on the lake. You're able to have fun with them on the boat, throwing them off the inner tubes and jet skis, having that type of fun. But you get yourself in a little virtual reality boxing. It's always cool there. So Saban's had some fun things this offseason, but at the end of the day, his mindset, his goal, his focus, his number one thing is I'm trying to get national championship number 8 overall. And I'm trying to get national championship number 7 in Tuscaloosa that will put me officially over the legendary Paul Bear Bryant. That's what Coach Saban's trying to accomplish. That's the goal there. Continue to mentor young men, mentor young athletes, but put myself right there to win a national championship and show the rest of college football I'm not done. You look around the tea leaves, so much of Saban's done. He's old. He can't vibe with the young folks. Look at what Kirby Smart's doing. He's got more of a finger on the game of college football. He's got more of a finger on the pulse. He's got more of a finger on what's all going on. Saban tired of hearing that. He ready to show, hey, I'm Nick Saban for a reason. So it'll be fun to watch Bama fall camp. It appears that we got the man on the line here. So without further ado, we go to the In My Own Words hotline. We pick up the man, the myth, the legend, the captain of Team No Sleep. When you look at, he's clocking these recruits from left to right, north, south, everywhere you turn. You see a hot shot recruit. Justin Smith is not too far behind him. We got our director of scouting and recruiting. Justin's on the phone line. What's happening, man? Glad to have you in here.
Always good to be on, Steve.
Always fun to have our own Justin Smith right here on the show. So, Justin, you mentioned the last time we had you on, but Alabama's looking to have this surge in recruiting. They're looking to have some things pick up here, especially in the month of July, coming up in a couple of days. But as of today, got a new commitment, fresh commitment from 3-star defensive lineman Isaiah Faga. You help me with pronouncing the last name there, but he has committed. He has put his name in the hat there for the Crimson Tide. So when you look at Isaiah here, you know, what jumps out to you about his tape, about his film? What makes him very much so good, needed here? What does he bring to Alabama's defensive line?
I think he's bringing a lot of different things. He's a big, athletic kid. 3-star for most recruiting sites, most likely because a lot of recruiting sites haven't seen him in person. I actually had an opportunity to see him this spring when I went out of Central Phoenix City. So I think he's going to be a 4-star. He's going to be a 4-star definitely on Touchdown Alabama when we update our 2024 recruiting rankings. I think he's going to be a 4-star eventually across the recruiting board. Some people see that as a Bama bump, but Faga is a guy who deserves that rating. When you take a look at his game, like I said, a guy who's like 6'2", 6'3", long, 275, 280 pounds, explosive defensive lineman, a guy who moves really well in space. I'm talking about that lateral movement. It's the thing that really stands out to me, the way that he's able to move in space for a guy his size, uses his hands really well. So there's a lot to work with. And take a look at the Central Phoenix City product, Crimson Tide going into Central Phoenix City, a school where Alabama has struggled in recent recruiting classes, but now they're going back to Phoenix City to pick up Faga. Like I said, he was verbally committed to Utah, flipped his commitment to Alabama. Alabama offered him a couple of months ago. And as soon as they offered him, Alabama's defensive line coach Freddie Roach said, "Yo, you're going to be a priority target for us. We want you to get you back on campus as many times as possible. We want you to get back on campus for that official visit." So that is why when I came on the last time, I was telling you that a surge is set to happen for the Crimson Tide to possibly end this month and also throughout next month. Just a combination of guys set to announce their commitment decision because they want to put their recruitment behind them before their senior seasons begin. Alabama hosts some of those guys for official visits. Of course, Alabama has several flip targets on campus over the weekend, so those are some guys to watch out for as well. And just a long list of Alabama targets set to announce the commitment decision in July, which is why I have predicted that a surge will happen, very similar to the 2023 recruiting class where we saw Alabama only had like 5 commits at this time. I think Tony Mitchell and like Brayson Hubbard commit like in late June, and it basically took off from there. I think things are going to be very similar for the Crimson Tide here in the 2024 recruiting class, where we see a huge surge throughout the end of this month and also throughout July for the Tide. And we'll see where they will be sitting at the end of July, because I think this month will determine a lot about Alabama's 2024 recruiting class in terms of their rankings and ratings and their projections to be another number one possible recruiting class.
Before we get to our next question here, Justin, I kind of want to keep it right here. You mentioned how tough it has been, a struggle it's been for Alabama recruiting Central Phoenix City High School. I remember, I think it was the 2018 class, not 2020, I'm way out there. The 2018 class, I remember it was Justin Ross as a wide receiver, and Ross, Alabama was after him, wanted him, did not quite get him. I think Ross was either 2017 or 2018, ended up going to Clemson, playing for the Clemson Tigers. But to go back to Central Phoenix City and pick up Isaiah Faga here, do you feel like Alabama will be able to hold that commitment until the end, proving that it has been able to overcome that struggle that it has recently had with recruiting Central Phoenix City?
Yeah, I think Faga's going to stick. Like I said, he flipped his commitment to Utah. I think there was a struggle for him to flip that commitment. He stayed committed to them for quite some time. Even when Alabama first offered him, he was a Utah commit. So, yeah, a lot to juggle with. Of course, that's an in-state school. It is Alabama, way closer than Utah. So he had a lot to consider before that decision. So I think Alabama will hold on to its commitment. But Central Phoenix City is one of the top high schools in Alabama. They're going to continue to produce talent. We'll see how Alabama fares with some more of that talent, because they are going to miss on a guy, a 5-star wide receiver in this 2024 recruiting class. Of course, you're not really considering the Crimson Tide at the moment out of Central Phoenix City. So yeah, they're going to have to continue to build their relationship with guys, find the right guys from their school who they want to bring along. But they have so many other great just pipelines going to other programs like Bruford High School in Georgia, of course, who produced Justice Haynes, Seth McLaughlin, Jake Pope, Justice Haynes, Isaiah Bunn, Crimson Tide are in the mix to get KJ Bolden from there, and several other guys in the 2024 and 2025 recruiting classes. So Central Phoenix City is just one of those powerhouses where the Crimson Tide kind of struggled with over the last couple of recruiting cycles. So I think this is a good sign, a positive sign for them that they were able to pick up a commitment from Faga today.
If you're just checking out the show here on a Wednesday, we got the Director of Scouting and Recruiting for TDA, my man Justin Smith, right here on the phone lines, in my own words. So, Justin, when you look at Faga, what was it about Freddie Roach that was able to make this happen? What do you think, just in your opinion, your expertise, made Faga comfortable with Freddie Roach comfortable with Faga, and having this happen, that this young man commits here to Freddie Roach on this defensive line in a positional group that Alabama's trying to be more physical. They're trying to be more nasty. They're trying to get those guys that can not only stop the run, but rush the quarterback, affect the passing game. How big was this for Freddie Roach, in your opinion?
I think this was another big win for Freddie Roach for sure, particularly inside the state, because he does recruit the state of Alabama for the Crimson Tide. So this was a huge win, in my opinion, especially with the fact that you join him with a guy like Jeremiah Beaman, the 4-star defensive lineman out of Parker High School in Birmingham, Alabama, who Freddie Roach played a huge role in his recruitment as well. So I think Freddie Roach is showing that he can recruit the state of Alabama at a high level and get guys that he really wants, specifically along the defensive line as well. He seems to be rolling since missing out going back to the 2023 recruiting class on a guy like Peter Woods, but has basically turned that around and has pulled in the top defensive lineman in the state from that point moving forward, when he pulled in James Smith and going to pull in Jeremiah Beaman and not going to pull in Fogger. So this is a positive sign for Freddie Roach recruiting the state of Alabama, which he has done at a high level, and he's continuing to do that for the Crimson Tide.
So just as we flip this now to the month of July, you mentioned that surge here that Alabama's trying to have. You know, how special could the month of July be for Alabama? But for you, what would you say? What would you say? How would you look at the month of July being special for Alabama in recruiting? What would it take for the month of July to be special for the Tide in recruiting?
I think they're going to have, I think the month of July will determine a lot of different things because, like I said, so many top guys are announcing their commitment decisions. So we'll see how Alabama class is going to look and to see where they are going to have to go if July doesn't go as planned. So, like I said, I think July is just going to be just huge for the Crimson Tide, just simply because when you take a look at this class, like if guys are going to announce commitment decisions in July, and if they don't commit to Alabama, the Crimson Tide have to reevaluate things, rethink things. So a lot of that is going to play a role in Alabama moving forward when it comes to the 2024 recruiting efforts. When you just take a look at the recruiting board, so many guys announced commitment decisions who have already locked in dates. 4-star tight end Caleb Odom, 4-star athlete wide receiver Aaron Hampton, Casey Poe, 4-star offensive lineman out of Texas, who the Crimson Tide seem to be in a good position with. You have William Sanders, another underrated offensive lineman inside the state of Alabama, who sets an a commitment decision in mid or to the end of July. You got the guys flip targets to watch out for. Fogger was one of those guys. We also have guys like Jay Lindsey, Ellis Robinson, the 5-star cornerback, number 1 cornerback in the nation, verbally committed to the Georgia Bulldogs. You have he's not a flip target, but you have KJ Bolden, of course, the 5-star athlete out of Bruford High School in Georgia. Some other flip targets like Peyton Woodyard, 4-star defensive back out of California, verbally committed to Georgia as well. DeMarcus Riddick, another Georgia commit out of Chilton County High School in Alabama. Those are just a whole bunch of guys to just keep your eyes on throughout next month. Jacob Gould is another one. So that is why July is going to be huge. Let's see what those guys' decisions will be and how they will impact Alabama's 2024 recruiting efforts.
Well, folks, he is Justin Smith, the director of scouting and recruiting right here for TDA, giving us the lowdown on this 2024 class. Isaiah Faga, 3-star defensive lineman, the latest commitment here for the Crimson Tide. Keep your eyes on the month of July, whether it's targets, flip targets, whatever takes place. We will see how Alabama goes about doing this for the month of July here. But Justin, as always, we appreciate you taking time to be with us, man. Take care of yourself. Stay cool, man. We'll see you. We'll see you soon.
How you do? Thank you.
Absolutely, Justin Smith here with us here on the show. Always fun talking recruiting with my man right there. We're gonna take a break here, folks, in the show. Don't touch that dial, because when we get back, we return to those phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, a conversation, a dialogue with you, the Alabama faithful, and it comes after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care, in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99, and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, we're back into the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets. We're talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama magazine on a Wednesday hump day. Happy to have you all in here checking us out. Continue tapping the like button, giving us that thumbs up right there on the show, showing us that support. We appreciate that. Thanks to you guys for hitting that subscribe button as well. At Daily Super Chat Go, $100. Daily Super Chat Go. And how about I am the last ape with that 99 cents right there? I am the last ape. And then Tobias from Fresno. My man Tobias with that $100 donation in the Super Chats. Dropping the love there right there for us. Appreciate the support. They're coming for I am the last ape and Tobias helping us out right there on the show. We go to the phone lines to grab your calls. Well, we had the calls there, but we go to the phone lines here, 205-448-1358. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. One more time, 205-448-1358. Number to call in right there. The number is also on screen, and it was awesome getting a chance to hear from Justin Smith, the Director of Scouting and Recruiting for TDA, in that recent segment. This upcoming month here, Eli, July's coming in. How will this recruiting shape out? You got top targets, you got flip targets, you got so much to keep your eyes on. Who will Nick Saban be able to get? How will they manipulate the numbers? It's always a fun conversation when you go into recruiting, but cool call topic right here. This one goes to former Alabama defensive lineman Jesse Williams, two-time BCS national champion 2011 and 2012. Jesse Williams, a former fifth-round pick in the 2013 NFL draft by the Seattle Seahawks. Helped the Seahawks to a Super Bowl in 2013. Was diagnosed with kidney cancer 2015, but battled through it, defeated that. Now he's back in Australia with his family, living his life, and kind of interesting. Jesse Williams was talking about on a recent podcast how he hilariously recalls how much different team meetings are for the Crimson Tide versus the NFL. He was like, man, I was in the team meeting room with the Seattle Seahawks, and they had music playing. They had a basketball hoop in the room. People were talking loud. I'm wondering, am I being pranked or am I being punked? I'm just sitting here in my chair stationary because I'm like, I'm not falling for this. Like, Jesse Williams was used to that. He's like, man, when you're at Alabama, you walk in that team meeting room, it's quiet in there. Like, Coach Saban walks in and it's quiet. I mean, it's business, it's quiet. You know, if somebody cough loud, they're turning around looking at you like, what's your deal? So Jesse Williams giving us a hilarious inside scope what makes team meetings in the NFL different than what he experienced at Alabama. But we take this call, hear you live on the show. What's happening, how we feeling, state your name, and where you calling from?
Hey, Sports Cards.
Hey, what's going on, man?
I was wondering, do you think if Jermaine Burton continues to struggle, he'll lose playing time to these younger guys?
I look at if Jermaine Burton does have an issue with drops or is not producing like he needs to, but I can 100% see a young guy get an opportunity. Whether that young guy is a Jaron Hamilton or a Jalen Hale, or that young guy has more time for Kobe Prentice, more time for Isaiah Bond, more time for Kendrick Law. So if there's a situation where Burton is not producing the way he needs to, or if he struggles coming out of the gate, you know, you can see a young guy getting in there.
I went back and watched some highlights of the spring game, and he was dropping several.
There were quite a few passes that Burton did drop. Some of those Ty Simpson put dead on the money, and for Jermaine Burton, he's got to catch the football. When the ball is on him, when the ball is on his fingertips, on his hands, he's got to catch those, especially if he's trying to become a high-round draft pick or a draft pick period, but definitely a high-round draft pick. You got to catch the football. That's the big thing. They always say if you touch the ball, you catch the football. He's got to catch the football.
Thank you.
Appreciate Jason there calling into the show right there. For Jermaine Burton, you got to catch the football. And hopefully this season, he can be a consistent guy. Hopefully this season, he can be one of those guys that can ease the stress off you breaking in a brand new starting quarterback, replacing one Bryce Young. So hopefully, Jermaine Burton can, catch this football, make plays, not have the drops that he suffered just a season ago. But gonna be a good season. Gonna be a very nice season. But yeah, Eli, it did make me laugh and chuckle a bit hearing how, Jesse Williams was talking about how different the team meetings are in the NFL versus University of Alabama. But I know a lot of Alabama fans, not fans, but a lot of former Alabama players, they paid their homage, their respect to Ryan Mallett, former Arkansas quarterback that tragically passed away on yesterday, that being Tuesday. Mallett, unfortunately, at a local beach in Florida, and the young man drowned there. And for a guy that meant a lot to the Arkansas community, a lot to the SEC community, a guy that was one of the bright stars in college football, especially in the SEC for Arkansas, gone too soon at 35. And quite a few Alabama players definitely paid their homage to him. So our thoughts and prayers are to his family. But we take this call right here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve, what's going on, sir? It's Tobias. How's it going, man?
Doing great, my man. How we feeling?
Oh, man, feeling just wonderful, man. Haven't been able to watch you live, man. Work's been just crazy, and but I've been watching on the replay and all of that good stuff, man. You guys just keep pumping out great content. Just keep doing what you're doing. I've had a lot of thoughts over these last weeks, but today I just wanted to kind of pick your brain about Jalen Milroe, man. I know that we're really, really expecting the best, and I am too. I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised. My concern, obviously, is that what we saw, and I know it was just a snapshot, but the turnovers worry me. And I just worry about a young athlete. This is going to be his year, more than likely. Nick Saban, no coach likes the turnovers and all of that. And I kind of it's weird because Jalen Hurts just, of course, got that big contract, so big props to him. And just all the Alabama players, all the wealth that Saban has been able to produce. I do a lot of work in the African-American community, man, and I'm just like, this is beautiful, the amount of legacy-changing wealth that's coming into the community through athletics. But when I think of Jalen Hurts, though, man, as much as I loved him in his first year, the offense was limited. And it was cool watching him, get back, scramble, and everybody was in man coverage. Then all of a sudden he makes the touchdown. And through that season, I was worried because I'm like, man, you got these new freshmen in there. You got Calvin Ridley. And they can't even get y'all the ball because of the quarterback's lack of quarterback prowess. And then the next year, of course, because you could say, well, Jalen Hurts did get us that touchdown. There was, and if the defense would have held up, we would have had that national championship. But I looked at it differently, Steve. I was like, if we would have had a prolific offense, the defense wouldn't have been on the field all those minutes. And, we would have been able to hold up. Because if we would have put up 40 points in that game, we would have won. That's that national championship where we lost last second of the game. So Jalen Milroe, for some reason, puts me into the mindset of Jalen Hurts, which is a wonderful, like, to be compared to is wonderful. But at the end of the day, we saw what those limitations were. And I'm just worried because we got firepower on the outside. There's no reason. I heard the last caller talk about Jermaine Burton. I don't even think Jermaine Burton. I don't want to word. I want to word it right, just in case these kids are listening and stuff. But you know, he may be, from my lens, number 3 on the team in terms of skill set. So I worry about us getting the ball out. Anyway, I'll hang up. What are your thoughts about what he needs to do in order to make that leap into being the quarterback Alabama needs? Because we've been able to win national championships without having a first-round NFL draft quarterback. We just need somebody that's going to, know the whole playbook, get the ball out in time, go through his progressions, and do not turn the ball over. Hey, man, keep doing what you're doing. I'll take your comments off the air.
Appreciate Tobias calling in there from Fresno. I know it's worrisome for a lot of Alabama fans when you look at Jalen Milroe just due to the 2 turnovers he had against Texas A&M last year in that snapshot of a game which he started in, and then the spring game where, despite him having 2 touchdown passes, some of the throws also were not where you would like for them to be. You didn't necessarily have a quarterback that truly separated there in the A-Day game. I think for Milroe, the biggest thing for him is he's going to have to be able to show he can hit the deep ball. He can hit the deep ball. Yes, the short and intermediate passing game too, absolutely. But he's got to show that he can hit that deep ball, because as much as we do want to see Alabama have that ground and pound effect, at the end of the day, Nick Saban also looks at what he had with the Bryce Youngs, with the Mac Jones, with the Tua Tagovailoas, and he wants to still be able to throw that deep ball. So Milroe's going to have to be able to hit that deep ball. We'll see if he can hit that prolifically in the upcoming season. But we take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from. You are live on the show, caller. We kind of lost that call right there. We unfortunately lost that call right there. But yeah, that's the biggest thing for Milroe, in my opinion. Can he hit the deep ball? Short to intermediate passing routes. They got to be on point. And while, you don't want the turnovers. Yes, you don't. But you can't play scared either, if that makes any sense. You don't want to have the turnovers, but yet you don't want to be so afraid to make a turnover that you don't want to cut it loose too. Because, that was kind of a thing there with Jalen Hurts early in his Alabama career. It was, yes, he didn't make a lot of interceptions, but there were times where U.S. fans were like, Jalen, just cut it loose. Throw it, give Calvin Ridley a chance. Give Jerry Jeudy, give Henry Ruggs, give those guys a chance. So cut it loose, right? So as much as we don't want to see the turnovers from Milroe, we also don't want to see, playing too overly conservative and not giving these guys a chance here on the outside. But we grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Yes, this is David calling from Philly.
What's going on, man? How we doing?
I'm doing all right. I just wanted to comment. I know I don't have no worries about Milroe and what he's going to do. The issues I have is the receivers being able to catch the ball, because you had someone like Bryce Young throwing it to him and they was dropping them. So I would expect if they don't improve their hands, they're going to do the same for Jalen Milroe.
I mean, David, fair point right there. That's why these guys have got to get on that jug machine, like the Amari Coopers, the Jerry Judys, Devontae Smiths, those guys did after every practice, catching the ball after practice, catching balls out of the jug machine after every practice, because when you are breaking in a new starting quarterback, the best way to make that young man feel comfortable and at ease is you catching the football. That's how you bail him out. That's how you let him know that, you got his back, is you are catching the football that he's throwing to you. Or at the very least, you're giving maximum effort to catch the football that he is throwing to you. So, after watching guys drop passes from Bryce Young, and it was frustrating, you definitely want to see all of those receivers that have talent catch the football, look the ball in, and give that quarterback confidence in you.
Yes, and I believe that JUCO player, I think he's going to be a wrecking crew out there. But I think that others got to step up, because if he goes out and do his business, teams are going to be able to scheme to try to shut him down. And it's going to take somebody else to have to step up. So there could be multiple players that need to step up.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. Appreciate David there from Philadelphia with that call right there. Looking forward to seeing Malik Benson myself as the former JUCO wide receiver, Hutchinson Community College in Kansas, seeing what he does here for Alabama. And I agree with David. Other guys are going to have to step up, whether it's Ja'Cory Brooks, like I said, Isaiah Bond, Kobe Prentice, Kendrick Law. You got a slew of receivers, Jermaine Burton, a slew of them. These guys have got to catch the football and make defenses respect everybody. Because if it's just one guy catching the ball, you can pretty much bracket that one guy, take him away, and dare somebody else to beat you. It kind of goes back to, Eli, the 2022 national championship game off the 21 season, where you go into that game, you're facing Georgia for the national championship. John Mechie was already hurt, so he was out for that game. He didn't play. You got Jameson Williams out there, and J-Mo, unfortunately, gets hurt. And so once J-Mo got hurt, basically it became Kirby Smart playing man-to-man defense and saying, hey, one of these other receivers beat us. You don't have John Mechie. You don't have Jameson Williams. Who else you got that can beat us? We're going to play man-to-man coverage. We're going to bump you. We're going to press you, and we're going to see. Can you get off the line? Can you get off the press coverage? Can you beat us? Can you do this? And unfortunately, there were guys that were talking about wanting more playing time, deserving more playing time, but when they got the playing time, unfortunately, they weren't ready for it. And guys were dropping the football. Guys were not ready for the moment in that national championship game against Georgia. So definitely players have got to step up. Got to step all the way up here. But we're going to go to our final break here on the show on Touch That Dial, folks. When we get back, we dive into a discussion conversation on can this Alabama secondary do more than simply hold its own in the upcoming season? Can it really, truly dominate in terms of the defense? We'll wrap things up after this.
I'm Malachi Moore. You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we appreciate all of you for what you've done today. For all the phone calls, all the super chats, all of the chatting and the chat line, you making this your show, your spot, your outlet to talk all things Bama football. Continue tapping the like button, hitting that thumbs up, hitting that subscribe button, making us your spot here for all things Bama football. Guys, show some love to Wookie Gremlin. Wookie Gremlin with that $5 donation in the super chat, showing us love right there. Appreciate that coming from Wookie Gremlin. But discussion topic here, Eli, and this is on the Alabama football secondary. Can this group do more than just hold its own in the upcoming season? Can this group be a dominant group, an elite group? Now, can this group really shake some things up in college football here in the fall? Now, the good news about this group is the talent's there, right? You've got talent, you've got depth. You've got just at cornerback, you've got Kool-Aid McKinstry. You have Terrion Arnold. You have Trey Amos. You have Antonio Kite. You have Des Ricks. You have Jaleel Hurley. You've got Earl Little, who are also playing that nickel spot there at Star. You've got guys at corner. You've got guys at safety. There's Malachi Moore. There's Caleb Downs. There's Christian Story. There's Devontae Smith. There's Tony Mitchell. There's Jalen Key. You got guys. You got Jake. There's Jake Pope. You've got guys. You've got guys. You've got players all over this defensive secondary that can play. Key factor is going to be everybody put in the right spot, and this secondary doing more of it than hold its own. It can create turnovers. It can create interceptions, possibly score off those turnovers. Travaris Robinson, Nick Saban, Kevin Steele, all putting their heads together to make sure that this defensive back five, back six, the technique is there, the alignment's there, how you are reading and reacting is there. Everything is exactly where it needs to be at. Because I just go back and I look at last season, especially the Tennessee game. That game got on my last nerve. There were other games last year that were frustrating, but that Tennessee game got on my last nerve last year. And Eli, you were there with our own Justin Smith, and I know it was pandemonium, y'all getting out of there. I still feel bad about y'all being there, and I wasn't there to help. That was pandemonium. That was crazy right there. But that game, watching one player, Jalen Hyatt, one man, 6 catches, 207 yards, 5 touchdowns. That ain't it. Like, that ain't it. Eli, you almost got trampled. Oh, thank you for rubbing salt in the wound, Eli. I sat there and said I was sorry for not being there to try to help. You're rubbing salt in the wound, Eli. Y'all, Eli I'm sorry, Eli. Eli got trampled, and he's not letting me live it down. He almost got trampled, and he's not letting me live it down here on screen. But, that's what I was saying. Tennessee game, not what you want to see from the Alabama defensive secondary. There are other games also from last season that you didn't want to see that, but that was by far the biggest one. So, this time around for Alabama, DBs doing more than just holding your own. Playing elite ball, being physical with these wide receivers, rerouting guys, making plays on the ball. Bama's got to have it this year. Strong technique. Bama's got to have it this year. Lining up correctly. Being disciplined out there. Bama's got to have it this year. But the Crimson Tide has all of these guys lined up in the right spot. The alignment's good. The awareness is good. The discipline is good. The focus, the detail, all of that's good. Then this will be a secondary that does more than hold its own. It plays big-time football on the back end. But that's just something to keep our eyes on because the talent's there. The body's there. You got the players that you need. It's just now those guys executing at the highest level out there for the secondary. But Always Bama Nation, you want the best in news, notes, information, coverage on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store. If you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store. You got the Android phone for your audio needs. Check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, iHeartRadio. Got you covered right there. Good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll try to be back here on Friday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can get individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Purchase those copies, have those sent to your door. That link can be found in the description. If you're trying to get the fresh edition of TDA, the magazine, here's what you do. You go to touchdownalabama.com, you click join, become a member and or a subscriber today. That link in the description as well. Gotta give a shout out to my man, Justin Smith, the director of scouting and recruiting, coming on the day, breaking down the latest commitment here to the Crimson Tide. Gotta give a shout out to you, the incredible fans of Bama football, for all that you do, helping us out right here on the show. And gotta show some love to my producer, Eli Walker, in the studios, helping us out right here as he always does. Till next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing too. Not be bored there. You get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.